about this interface. I mean, I'm sure it'll look fine, but
Yeah.
okay.
What do you mean interface? Like it's
They updated the interface here on my restream. Hello, everybody. All right, so I'm not on the bike tonight because I just didn't have time to set it up. But boy, do we have a lot of news and information to keep us going. Because even as I was preparing to hit go right here, the the IDF said, the Israel Defense Forces said that 60% of Iran's launching capabilities have been destroyed. So, if that is the case, well, that is interesting. We're going to talk about a lot. I'm not going to say, I was debating like, it's very, easy to say who's winning, who's winning. I mean, that's what you say at a kid's little league game. So I don't want to use language like that. But obviously, everybody wants to know exactly what is happening and how it looks from over here. Um, Hi, Bethany. Thank you for joining. All right. So, and Marilyn, good to see you too. This is awesome. All right. So, I just want to start by letting you know if we could go by there's sirens right now in the north. So that's probably Hezbollah. Yeah, they're saying it's a drone. This is what's happening as we speak. It's constant, but much less in Jerusalem, which is where I'm based. Okay, so the Home Front Command, Israel's Home Front Command, has loosened the restrictions as of noon today. If your job has a shelter that you can go to very close by, then you can go back to work. But school is canceled still. And as of Sunday, the kids are going to be on a Zoom or a remote learning program. So parents got to go back to work. They can leave their kids at home to fend for themselves with their Zooms and or running to shelters. Does this make sense to anybody? I mean, parents are saying like, what are you crazy? Like, so I might risk losing my job by not going to work, or have to take sick days or vacation days just to keep my kids safe. So anyway, parents are pretty pissed about that. But anyway, that's luckily Tony and I both work from home, and it was the same during COVID, so we don't have to deal with that. But I totally understand what is going on here. So, all right, so where are we on day 6? It's day 6 of the war. Tomorrow is Saturday's when it started. So tomorrow we'll be completing a full week. Now, within the first 6 days, the US and Israel managed to take out quite a bit of Iran's capabilities and their leadership. And though I'm not saying this is my opinion, and I'm still very cautious in any assessment that I'm making, I did interview somebody today, an expert analyst, former Intel, specifically, is he Army? I don't know. I will let you know though. Michael Pregent, and he said, so he's an expert on the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, and he's a former U.S. Army intelligence officer and veteran who served in Afghanistan, Iraq, with also was an advisor to Kurdish forces fighting Al Qaeda and Iranian-backed militias. So very interesting, broad views on this. And in his assessment, he said that that's it for the regime. That's it for the IRGC. That basically the ground is now ripe for some sort of toppling or regime change. And now that part we didn't really go into fully, but he said that once you take out the leadership, which is essentially what was done in this campaign, and what he said was the combination of Israeli intel and American firepower was the perfect storm to really weaken the Islamic regime in the first couple of days. And to put it at at a point where it is ripe. The ground has been prepared for some sort of takeover. Now, last night, was it only last night? Because all the days are blending together. Where as we were going to sleep, or was it 2 nights ago? It was 2 nights ago. No. 2 days ago, the CIA reports, we don't know if these are true reports, but in the Washington Post, that the CIA is arming the Kurds to rise up in Iran. Iran is made up, I think, of something like 17 ethnic groups. And by the way, I'm going to also get to some really interesting stuff, because I was about to say the other ethnic groups include like Azeris and different Christian groups like Armenians and many others in Iran. But I want to also talk about, we have to talk about Azerbaijan, because that is, there was big news there on that front today. But just going back to whether or not the Kurds were going in last night was actually, I think it was last night that we went to bed with reports that the Kurds are invading right now, or they're rising up, because I think there are Kurds in Iran, there are Kurds outside. I think they're the largest people group that don't have a nation, and they're on all parts of the Middle East and the Caucasus. So that reports where they're rising up right now, but then the Kurds themselves denied that. And then I woke up this morning and I don't know if it's happening or not happening. And Iran also said, don't do it. They said, remember, in the famous word of former President Biden, don't. Essentially, that's what they said. Don't. So they are, I think, not. However, it's pretty much, it seems like an accepted fact that they are going to be armed to do this. Now, very interesting things from Michael Pregent, because he also said when he said that the U.S. has basically like blown it with a lot of sources, burning sources in this part of the world. And so that's why Israel is very crucial right now to be there, to also involve their intelligence networks and see what they can get moving on the ground. And then the interesting thing is going to be, and here's where I'm going to go to Azerbaijan. And actually, let's go to the map, because this will help us really understand, when you see it, when you can see what's happening, see where everybody is located, it just makes things like a lot more jarring or shocking or shattering here. So why can we not see Iran? All right, so here's finally the name of Iran shows up, and you can see from here to here, the missiles, they take about 10 minutes to get over here. So when we get an alert, we've got about 10 minutes. They detect somehow that it's been launched. And there's a lot going on right now in Erbil in Iraq, just so you know. There's a lot of attacks on American assets in Iraq. I want to talk about all of the region, but right now let's focus on Azerbaijan. So here's Azerbaijan. We're going to zoom in a little bit. And it's on the northern border of Iraq. It's also on the Caspian Sea. Here is the border that we're tracing along here. Now, suddenly you have this small, very small strip right here of border that's part of Armenia. So Armenia is also on the border. And then over here, there's an enclave called Nakhchivan. And that is part of Azerbaijan. And then after that, you've got Turkey and more. Well, up here is Turkey, I think. And this is more of Iran. So today, the Iranians launched some drones. And you want to know where they landed? They landed here in Nakhchivan. And this is causing a big geopolitical kerfuffle right now with the Azeris now poised to possibly enter the conflict. Now, are they going to enter? It's not a very high chance that they will enter. Also, Turkey had some missiles, I think it was missiles, not drones, aimed at them that were shot down. And so there was a lot of, Erdogan talking about that and saying, we will respond to this and do not aim at us, et cetera, et cetera. And so So the chances are not high that these two countries will get involved, and Turkey and Azerbaijan are good allies. But there is a possibility. Now, I'm going to show you a video of one of the. Well, this is interesting. What is this? I'm
And it's a
sorry.
missile that they fired
At Turkey.
at Turkey, but
Yeah.
Iran denies it.
Okay, here we go. Sorry, interface has all changed. Yeah, Iran denied both shootings,
Yep.
both at both of these. Okay, so oh, let's hope that video is still there on right here. Okay, so I'm gonna enlarge this. Can you guys see it? I don't know if you'll be able to hear, but here is the drone landing. Find this
Due
right here is cool.
Keçin çağrı daha bala. Keçin çağrı.
O da ki aldı. Bakı.
Oy bula. Uşaqları çıxardı.
Right near a school. Now, as I have not heard of any I haven't heard of any casualties at this point, but this could be a geopolitical disaster. Now, I see Emily has joined. Emily, which side would Azerbaijan join on? Well, that is precisely the question. Now, it is so complicated. I was like, so I'm talking to this analyst, and I'm like, wait, and he's like, yeah, we both paused. And I was like, well, that's why I'm asking you the questions. I have to ask you, because Azerbaijan and Israel, allies. Azerbaijan and Turkey, allies. Turkey and Israel, not such good friends right now. What else? Okay, so, but mutual enemy now, Iran, right? You just shot at us. Oh, well, we have to come after you. However, once they get in on the ground, Israel, US, yeah, Kurds, come on, go and take over. Please do our regime change for us. Thank you very much. Turkey, Azerbaijan, not so much. Turkey with the Kurds, nope, they don't want to see the Kurds take over and succeed in Iran. And so it would get very complicated if there is involvement from these countries. So yeah, I just said that. So yeah, so that would be now also Israel. So that could complicate the Israeli-Azeri relationship, possibly. Israel is sort of unofficially, there's an unofficial under thought that perhaps the Mossad uses Azeri territory to spy on Iran, or to run some of their operations into Iran through the border. And they also have very good trade. They also have there's good relations, military relations, and everything. Of course, it's a little bit different with Turkey. They had a détente for a while, and then that basically blew up on October 7th. And since then they have been at odds. Okay, Mary is saying that praying for your friends in Azerbaijan, and where could Armenia play into this? As the United States starts to have more of a presence there. Yes, and I hate the sound of drones. Yes, also hate the sound of drones. So very good questions. And actually, I'm going to be writing about that. And that's part of why I was interviewing this person, because for Armenia, and oh, Jacob, if you're watching, I keep meaning to message you, but it's been a very busy last 2 hours or 6 days. I can't remember. But because I would like to also speak with some people in Armenia and find out, like, of some officials, what they're doing. Because here's a few things where Armenia comes into this. First of all, the only ally, well, except for Georgia in the north, the only ally on its borders in the region, maybe ally is a strong word, is Iran. And Iran is a little bit preoccupied right now. So what's been happening and I need to get more information on this, but it has, I think, been verified that during these past couple of days, when everybody's attention is on World War III in the Middle East, Azeri troops have been encroaching into Armenian territory, and there's nobody there in the, what do you call it, in the region that's going to help right now. Iran is, well, Georgia is probably not in a position to help. They've never militarily helped Armenia. Back then, Russia was supposed to and never came to Armenia's defense during the blockade and the subsequent takeover of Artsakh, Nagorno-Karabakh territory. So this really is leaving Armenia in a very vulnerable position. On a positive note, President Trump has placed the Armenia-Azeri issue at the top of his agenda or agendas in recent months. And he even had them brokered this agreement, like a peace deal, but an agreement that about the border that or the southern border with Iran, that there's going to be a road that's built. The Trump route for international peace and prosperity will be built across southern Armenia. And sorry, just looking for when the thing buzzes, you're just like, oh, is there something coming my way? No, it's just news coming in. Sorry. Okay, so they want to build this, build the road down there that will enable Azerbaijan to connect. I showed you that part of Armenia, the 26 miles down on the south, to connect Azerbaijan with its enclave, which is the Nakhchivan enclave, where the drone hit. So why am I saying all that again? Oh, Armenia. So it leaves Armenia vulnerable at the moment for the Azeris to continue doing what they were doing before Trump stepped in, which was encroaching on eastern Armenian lands. Now, Aliyev, the president, has said he has called Yerevan, he's called, like, the part with Yerevan, he's called it Western Azerbaijan. And that is Armenia's capital, which is pretty much almost in Turkey. Like, it's almost that would be like the whole country. Like, Western Azerbaijan to him is all of Armenia. So it's river to the sea, essentially, except there's no sea for Armenia. It's landlocked. Okay. More sirens going off in Haifa and in the north right now. This is just continuing. It's been continuing since I started this broadcast, which apparently now is 18 minutes ago. So, okay, so this is something to watch if they're actually going to respond. I'm just going to read to you some of the notes that I was taking because there's no way I can remember in a given day all of this stuff. There's so much happening. Okay, so so we're waiting to see Azerbaijan's response.
Which they might not
Wow.
respond.
No, there's a good chance they're not going to respond. This is really funny. So this guy wrote, Iran and Azerbaijan are countries that love and support each other to the point of tears. And then he goes, haha, just kidding. The masks are coming off now. Let me see. Azeris. The Azeris should not be messed with. This is what the guy said. And then let's see. So if Azerbaijan sees the attack as a violation of its sovereignty, and if it is forced to respond militarily, then Turkey would have to be dragged in. And a direct Turkish, this could trigger a direct Turkish response to Iran. Okay. And then it would also, this was another thing I was going to say, with Armenia would be forced to choose a side because, I mean, or, like I said, the closest ties they have to anybody in the region is with Iran. That's really scary. First Christian nation and Islamic regime. I mean, politics makes for strange bedfellows, but in a region like that, where you're pressed in by Azerbaijan and Turkey that both are trying to take over your land or wipe you out, and already one of the countries committed a genocide against you. It's just like it's a disaster. So okay, Azerbaijan is a strategic partner for all of the West. It's going to provide now with this trip, the Trump route for international peace and prosperity is going to provide access from Central Asia, from all of the oil that they get, and to be able to ship across the Caspian Sea, and then Azerbaijan, all its supplies will then go on to Turkey and Europe and the rest of the Middle East. So it's just this is huge. If the Caucasus get involved, the Caucasus that nobody talks about and hears about, if they get involved, this could be huge. Also, there are 15 to 20 million Azeris, ethnic Azeris living in Iran. So if they rise up, then also this could be another thing. And actually, Iran is blaming Israel for shooting errant drones and missiles at Turkey and Azerbaijan, to say, no, it was Israel, and Israel's trying to get you to go against us. Because if the ethnic Azeris want to rise up, they're a large minority in the country, them and the Kurds in Iran. So, anyway, a lot can happen. Okay, so now let's go back to the rest of the Middle East, and let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at the map. Go back to the map, because right now, here I'm going to zoom out. Now watch as I zoom out this region here where we're at. Here's the Caspian Sea. We're going to go south though. Here's Tehran. And now let's go to the Gulf. We have to zoom in now, because little Bahrain, despite it doesn't even it's not even bigger than its name on the map. Bahrain has declared a state of emergency. They have oil refineries under attack right now. They're getting lobbed with missiles or drones. I'm not really sure what. But they have absorbed a lot of fire from Iran, and you can see where they are related to Iran. They're very, very close. Like, it's just right across the border. So also, where is Kuwait? Kuwait. I think, well, up here a little bit, right? Wait, I got to zoom out now. Here's Kuwait. Kuwait also under big fire today from Iran. And I think also the UAE has been heavily attacked in the last 24 hours or so. So all of these countries are still getting pummeled. And I think that could be the reason that we are getting less over here, because we really have gotten less. Although today we had more than yesterday. We did in Jerusalem, right? We had 2 real sirens or 3 real sirens, and 2 fake, not fake, but it ended up not resulting. We got an alert, but then not a siren. So,
There's a chart of what they've targeted. Do you see this?
Right. I sent that to you for a reason. Why? Because I wanted to remember it. Can I have that?
No.
Here we go. I'm going to read you some stuff.
I got this from somebody on Facebook.
Oh, it's funny because I sent it to you too, I think, so
look-
I could
look at my
actually
messages.
remember it. Let me see. Where is my live feed? Okay. Let's see. Emily has a good question here. Emily says, do you think Trump was setting the stage for this the last few months, weeks, meeting with Armenia recently, the Gulf states securing the oil from Venezuela? I feel like there were a lot more getting the ships in place. You know what? I think that he is so many steps ahead of us, agree with him or not, because he was first of all, I've written extensively, but again, in a microscopic way about some of these issues. And now if I zoom out, like we do with the map, he obviously less microscopic, the Armenia Azeri thing was not just to say, yes, I want a Nobel Peace Prize, I'm declaring peace in the region. It was also economic in nature and putting America's stamp on Iran's northern border, and also taking over a corridor that connects to the rest of Asia. So that is very interesting in and of itself. But now, when you think of what's happening here in Iran, even more strategic to be on that border. So, okay, so let's see. And I just want to see that Kim, hi Kim, is saying, for those Americans wanting to leave the region, have you seen or learned of any process that has been working for evacuating? I realize it may differ by country. Yes. So I don't know how it's going in other countries, but I can tell you that in Israel, it's very difficult to get out of Israel in any easy way. Like it's not easy. You can ask Emily, who's here in the chat, how many tourists have gotten out of Israel who were stuck or caught here. They had to take from wherever they were, take a bus to the southern border in Eilat, cross into Egypt, and then either leave from Taba, which had very limited flights, very limited evacuation flights, and then or go to Cairo, which is several hours beyond, and leave from Cairo, flying to wherever you can from Cairo, which at least it's a larger airport. Ben Gurion Airport in Israel has just opened up, but initially only for Israelis wanting to come back, and very limited flights, like just a few a day. They're going to, from Sunday, allow people to leave, Israelis to leave, like every other citizen can leave any way they can, which is only one way at the moment. Just go to Egypt. Don't even go to Jordan, apparently. And I do know a group. And Jeff, if you're watching, that's right, I got your email. So Jeff was here, and I think you left for Jordan before the war started, but then you got stuck in Jordan because, like, this is what he was telling me. This tour group, they got stuck in Jordan because then Jordanian airspace closed down. So it's like, so even that's difficult. Maybe people can fly out of Aqaba now. I'm not sure, but they're saying that most of these countries aren't safe, and Jordan is in the flight path of Israel to Iran and Iran back to Israel. So, not so safe for errant missiles. I even saw a video somebody took. I don't know where they were flying to or from, outside their plane window of a missile flying like right under their plane or on its way. And I don't know what, like, there was no detail in the picture. For all I know, it could be AI, right? These days you can't tell. Okay, so this is, who is the AGC? Like, all right, so mind you, I did not source this. This is American Jewish Committee, a infographic over here. Who has targeted, who has Iran, I'm reading backwards, targeted with missiles and drones. And you can see Israel is like in 5th place. Okay, so my question is, then for all that we're under, what are these people going through? UAE, Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain have more drones and missiles than Israel, according to this. Jordan, Cyprus. I'll show you the map after this. Oman and Saudi Arabia. Wow, Saudi Arabia only has 2. I thought there were more than that. Cyprus actually has 5, and Oman has 2. Oman and Saudi Arabia have 2 each. Oh, all right. They just recognized some more. They identified more launches from Iran. Okay, so right now, so if I don't get alert, we're good to go. I'm good to continue yapping, as my kids say. Speaking of my kids, are you guys following the hair saga? Like, this has become an obsession. Like, they are so bored and they have so nothing to do. Oh, your phone. You want your phone back, Tony? Tony wants his phone back.
We have to charge it, it always has to be charged.
Yeah, your phone. Oh my God, keep your phone charged at all times, because you just never know. Oh, wait. Oh, yes. Here's big news. This is other big news I was waiting for. And by the way, UAE, here's like launches in the UAE. You'll see. Wait, that one's not as good. Here, look at these. This is, oh, sorry. Wow, I got to find a better way to do this. I'm so not techie. Abu Dhabi. This is in Abu Dhabi. So Kim, just to make a long story short, I don't know how other countries are doing it. Like if in the UAE, they're coming under heavy attack. So I think they grounded flights. And where do you go from there? Because you go across all the countries around them are getting attacked, and the only other country around them is Iran. So I don't really know what they do. That is such a great question. And for us, it would just be so difficult to do this evacuation if we wanted to. But the U.S. Embassy has, or the State Department has said that all Americans should leave all 14 countries. They listed 14 countries. And by the way, when people flee Israel, the best place to go is Cyprus, because it's just like an hour flight. But Cyprus is under attack as well, ish. I mean, they're not under constant attack, but because there are British air bases that are hosting American planes, this is why they consider them a legitimate target. And the missiles are coming from whatever attacked them, whether it was drones or missiles. I think it was some were drones. I don't know like the whole extent. Were coming from Lebanon. So anyway, here is a great, a resource to get out. Okay, I'm gonna have to click on that later. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, oh wow, people are stuck. Yeah, that's right. Canadians, British, everybody's stuck. And do you know, by the way, in the Gulf countries, most of their population, like a good 50 to 90%, depending which country, are foreigners anyway. They are all like foreign workers that live in these countries. So they're all foreigners. So I don't know how they get out. Yeah, okay, I'm going to this because I want to know. All right, the Houthis, the Houthis. You guys know about the Houthis? I just wrote an article, I don't know if it's published yet, about the proxy groups and how they may or may not get involved. Now, obviously, Hezbollah has gotten involved. Wow, we need to talk about Lebanon. Oh, I thought I heard an interception. We'll talk about Lebanon, but the Houthis are in Yemen, and they were pretty much pummeling Israel with their own. Well, when I say pummeling, I mean, it's like, again, it's a 2,000-kilometer journey of a missile, and you have plenty of time to know that it's coming, but it hit, many of them did not do damage, but a few of them did. One landed on the grounds of the airport. Others hit like people or places or whatever. I mean, so yeah, like there was some damage there, but the Houthis were not as threatening as the Iranians. Like when we heard, we would check, you get the alert, you get like on your phone, and you're like, oh my God, detected a launch from, and my kids would say, is it from the Houthis or Iran? And if I said the Houthis, they'd be like, oh, okay, can we just go in the stairwell? And if it was Iran, I'd be like, get to the shelter now, because their missiles are, even though it's also Iranian missiles, but the ones they were launching were bigger and badder. So the Houthis just announced tonight in their weekly address, we support our Iranian brothers and we are ready to act. And we are watching the campaign with our finger on the trigger. So that brings me to whose finger has already hit the trigger, and that is Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. And there's a lot of drama going on right now in Lebanon. Now, they were being pushed by the Americans to make an agreement with Israel, but as part of the agreement, the prerequisite was to disarm, or demilitarize. I'm struggling which is the proper word. I'll have to ask Maira. To disarm Hezbollah. And now Hezbollah is the largest non-state militia in the world that basically functions like its own army. They had 100,000 members or fighters. They had up to 200,000 drones, missiles, rockets in their arsenal, and they're very entrenched. Now, there were a couple of factors that weakened Hezbollah over the last couple of years, and that was the fall of Assad in Syria. And that was only like a year and a half ago. So this is like probably the most recent, or is a year less than a half ago, that because Assad was basically like with Iran. So Syria, should I put the map? Never mind, connects Iran to Lebanon. And so it became a conduit for Iranian proxies, for weapons smuggling, all this stuff, or weapons transfers and everything. So the pipeline was good back then for Hezbollah. Then October 7th happened, and Hezbollah got involved, and that was another. They got involved with attacking Israel. They joined Hamas, and so did, like, as the Houthis did, and they said, okay, yeah, we're all in, and it was a very serious war. Many of the communities in northern Israel were evacuated. Lebanon sustained a lot of damage, but Hezbollah also sustained a lot of damage. And Israel, even after the ceasefire, which was November of 24, Israel didn't really ever go by one day without bombing something or targeting a military, operative, a Hezbollah operative, and they went after missile sites, and they didn't stop for a second. So Hezbollah was really weakened during the past 2 years, but I don't know to verify to what extent. Now, what we're seeing in this, so Hezbollah didn't do anything for almost 48 hours. And then on Monday night, they're like, all right. And they shot a few rockets at Israel. And now they're also shooting drones, and it's pretty much nonstop. Now, the media gets very dramatic especially during war. So lots of, like the rockets came in or missiles came in at one time, and everybody went berserk with headlines like it's a coordinated Iranian Hezbollah attack, and then it was like 2 seconds later, it was like, oh wait, Lebanon, nothing came from Lebanon, it was only Iran. So I don't know now if there's coordination or how much coordination, or if they're just acting on their own. But honestly, they appeared very hesitant to enter, and even now we don't feel, I mean, the North feels the impact. They're probably evacuating right now, northern Israel, but they also open the door for a very prolonged war, because this is the moment that Israel has been waiting for, because now they all ceasefire violate, this is the ultimate violation of the ceasefire. All options are off the table. We're all in. And Israel has called up its reserves. They have now issued an unprecedented evacuation order for all of southern Lebanon, I think 50 villages, hundreds of thousands of people, and neighborhoods in Beirut, the capital of Lebanon. Evacuate. Everybody evacuate. That is unprecedented. We're talking about Israel, a sovereign nation, going against an organization, a militia that is deemed a terrorist group by most of the West, that operates within a sovereign nation, Lebanon. This is like this is going to be a protracted war. Israel's probably going to go in on the ground, as if they're not already. I think they are to some extent on the ground, but the fact that they're calling for this evacuation, it's either going to be some massive bombing campaigns or some kind of ground maneuvers. And I don't know what to tell you about Hezbollah's preparedness for something like this, whether or not they have still enough weapons to deal with this. Do they have enough fighters? Israel took out a lot of their operatives. I mean, a lot, not compared to 100,000, but also their leader, Hassan Nasrallah, an extremely precise intelligence operations that they were able to, to do, which was it's amazing. Like it's kind of like also what's happening in Iran, the fact that they could take out the Ayatollah within the first couple hours of this operation, and not just him, but 40 leaders, and they are continuing to target the leadership. Um, Now that brings me actually full circle to that. Okay, the we haven't gotten an alert yet, so we're good. Brings me full circle to um, where does Iran stand today? Because if you listen to, and it's very hard, listen, no matter what government you're listening to, if you're like a pro-Iranian and you're listening, to their stuff that they put out, or you're pro-Ukrainian or you're pro-Russian or whatever the country is putting out via their official channels is always going to be in their favor. That's PR. That's what that's okay. I mean, that's just, but you just have to know that. You just have to be aware that what you're getting may be inflated or propaganda or whatever, or positive in one direction. So, sorry, what was that, Raya? No, what was it? Oh, okay.
Music.
So for instance, America's obviously talking about their successes and their victories, and Israel's talking about their successes and victories. Israel, by the way, shot down an Iranian jet, and which Iran denies. By the way, the F-15 that I said was reportedly shot down, America says that did not happen. Iran insists it happened. So, like I said, you always have two narratives, and so you just have to be careful. For instance, I don't want to get think like, oh, okay, like if America, like, because we only hear the Western side of things, we don't really hear the Iranian media. The Iranian media is saying they're winning, and the foreign minister actually just told NBC News, we're ready for your ground invasion. We've been preparing for this for years, like basically like bring it on, But then he said, oh no, but I'm saying like, we're ready for you, but we don't want to stop talking. Like we'll anyway. So I asked this analyst today about how can you say, because he said that IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, is crumbling, is falling apart, and I said, how can you say that? Like, it's a country of 90 plus million people, and they have I'm going to look for where he said this because I want to just to be accurate. So he said that if enough of them were killed in the leadership, he said, you don't have to kill everybody. You just have to take out the leadership. And then everybody else can be vetted, like, or turned or forgiven or imprisoned. But he said at some point you take out enough of the leadership that it gives the rank and file a choice to make, whether they're going to go with the new government, the new up and coming leaders, or like, are they going to defect from their positions and ask for immunity, or are they going to keep fighting? And he said that just take out enough of leadership and you will see a lot of defections. Because I mean, I was saying, like, how many are in the IRGC? How many are in the Basij? The Basij are like the secret police, the militant police that operate all over, even undercover, and they're placing checkpoints and all of like around the country to like lock people down to prevent further protests and uprisings. So but he said that you don't have to get everybody. So once you get the leadership and you break the leadership apart, then the whole thing is going to crumble. This is what he said. A couple days ago, somebody said, you can't just take out the Ayatollah and expect regime change. She said the Islamic regime is a system that reinvents itself and builds itself anew. So I've got two opinions from two different sides, and I don't know what the truth is, or what the reality is, or what the possibilities are, or if elements of both can be true. I think both, and not that it's true or false, but I think they both had very good points, and I don't know which one wins out, or which one makes more sense, or which one stands better on the ground. So anyway, that was a lot of information. And if you guys have any comments on that, in the meantime, I'm looking at the comments that I missed. And hello to you too. I think it's Michael, right? Emily says, who is running Iran now, and what will a regime change look like? Are they strong enough to continue this bombing campaign? So according to Iran, they are more than strong enough to continue this bombing campaign. And according to Israel, they've destroyed 60% of their bombing capabilities. So that's one. So now, who is running Iran now? Good question. I think it's Ali Larijani. I think he's the one running things right now. There's also a president who's still alive. Masoud Peshkian is still alive. And they are trying to choose a new Ayatollah. Now, the Ayatollah that's up for nomination is the son of Khamenei, Mushtaba. But President Trump just said, I don't like him. I don't like him. Get me another one. So, but my question for President Trump would be like, wait a second, why do you want another Ayatollah? I thought you wanted a regime change. A regime change would mean no Ayatollahs, like bye-bye Ayatollahs, like no Islamic clerics in the government if you want a regime change. But he doesn't want Mushtaba because what did he say? He's weak or something. And meanwhile, like other people are describing him as like cruel and calculated and bloody and blood in his hands and this and that, whatever. Anyway. Okay. So they're going to choose but I don't know. Anyway, Ali Larijani is I think running things right now. Hi, Walter, and hi, Debbie. Did he really just fire Kristi Noem? All right. Well, I'll check that out after. That's unbelievable. Right now, the Israeli news is over, and they moved on to the song choice for Israel for Eurovision 2026. So I guess the war is off over here. And then Walter, good to see you. If the leadership is broken up, then a new leadership can be established. Yes, but that is also the big question, because like I was saying, will the Kurds rise up? Will the MEK take over? The MEK the guy I was talking to today said the MEK has a lot of, what's the word? Very good intel, but they won't be received by the Iranian people. That's what he said. So that is interesting. And there's the Crown Prince Pahlavi, who, who's in the U.S., exiled in the U.S. So who will take over? Who will the new leadership be? How will that happen in a very large geographically and population-wise country? How will a new leadership be brought in? And of course, these things are probably already thought through by the people who started this. And if if this is true that they're arming the Kurds to do some of this, are they arming the Azeris, or will the Azeris be opposed to the Kurds? I mean, there's just so many possibilities, and I can say that I have not thought of them up until now that I have to, because now we all want to know, right? So I don't know. But anyway, I'm sure we'll learn some more in the coming days. So anyway, all right. Well, I think I'm going to go because Raya wants to watch a movie, and it's already 9:30, and we should get some sleep before the next siren. So anyway, thank you very much for joining, and I will wait, one more comment. I'm not familiar with political workings. So when you say they are choosing the new leadership, who is they? Such a good question. I don't even know who is they, except it's probably some kind of Islamic clerical council that gets to choose. But don't quote me on that. I'll have to. I would have to actually research who that is. Usually, the Ayatollah would have chosen his successor, but he was killed before that happened. So. Oh gosh, and China chimed in too today. They did, and I can't remember what they said. Oh wow, TMI today. Oh my gosh, you're right. They said something about yes, don't block the trade routes. I think they got upset about it. I think it had something to do with that.
Affects them directly.
You were telling me that.
Yeah. it affects
Yeah,
them, the
Tony
oil.
was telling me that
So,
China is impacted by the oil, so or the stopping of the oil.
There you go. There's Trump's strategy. He takes out Venezuela, no oil from there. He's taking out Iran, no oil from there, and he's gonna weaken China like that.
And he's got the Azeri oil now with his
That's
new road, the
That's
trip.
right. So yeah. So
Okay.
This is to cripple China.
Well, Mary, thank you for adding that. Before we go, one more nugget of information. All right, I'm gonna go. We got a movie to watch before the next siren. So, ciao. Stay tuned, and tune in next time. It's fun to chat.